Well, good evening, everybody. You can see tonight I am actually sitting outside because I have new puppies in the office and it is actually quite loud in there. We are doing some crate training and they are not too happy about that. So I decided to come outside. It's been a really hot day. It's been 31 degrees here. I know in the winter time we're not going to complain, but yeah, anyways, we're sitting out here tonight. Hopefully the mosquitoes are not going to eat us alive, but we're just going to hang out and we're going to talk about bonding, jumping up, and separation anxiety. So those are the three topics that we're going to talk about tonight. And I hope you guys have some questions ready for me. After each section, we will have a question and answer. I will go on to the chat. I will see what you have for questions for me, and then we will just continue on to the next thing. All right, I'm just going to check and make sure everybody's logged in here. Okay, let's see here. Okay. All right. Okay, looks like everybody's here. Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I'm Michelle Birch from Living Prairie Kennels, and this is number 4 of our 4-part series that we have been helping you with puppy training. Again, I would like to send a shout out to Hitch and Stitch, who does all my embroidering. You can see all my cool logo on my shirts, all the nice little extras, my hat. Some of this stuff will actually be available on my website. So if you have interest in getting anything, if you have a business of your own, you can call Roxanne at Hitch and Stitch and get her to help you out with anything you need embroidered for your business or for awards or anything like that for a club. Give her a call, Hitch and Stitch. You bet. Awesome. So we're going to start talking about bonding today. So bonding is super important with your puppy. A lot of dogs that I see that are getting surrendered, the reason people are quite okay to give their dogs up is because they never did bond with their pup properly. So bonding is super important right from day one. And this doesn't mean that you just have to cuddle a puppy. Cuddling is okay, is a big part of bonding. But what you need to do is you need to build a relationship. You need to build trust. You need to bond with your puppy. And there's lots of different ways to do this. I will get into that right away, what we can do. But at the beginning, when you get your puppy, they don't know you. So, they might not even want to stay with you. So you need to make sure that you really work with that puppy, that they know who you are and they want to be with you. So if there's a distraction going on somewhere else and your puppy is just running around, when you call him, if you don't have a bond, if you don't have a relationship, then your puppy is not going to come running back to you. So here are some of the ideas that you can use for bonding. If your puppy eats less than 2 cups of food a day, you should not even have a dog bowl. Then you should be hand feeding those treats throughout the day. Put the food in a bag and start using that for training, for just sitting there, giving your puppies treats. That means that your scent is on his dog food and that is what they eat. So then the puppy actually gets your scent and it's with him all the time. Every time that puppy does something for you, you can give him some kibble. You can just sit there and just give the puppy kibble as you're just sitting with them, and you don't even really have to do something all the time. But give him a kibble out of your hand. Give him a kibble like that. Throw a kibble for him. Roll a kibble across the floor. Just give him one like that. Get him to sit for you. If he's just brand new, he's probably not going to know a whole lot of things like obedience or, tricks or anything like that. So just make sure that you're, just feeding him kibble by hand. That makes a huge difference. If you're just sitting on the couch, take that time. Take that 5 minutes or whatever it takes for your puppy to eat a meal and just give him all out of your hand. That really builds a bond. The other thing is start working with your puppy with different basic obedience things, like just simple things like sit and down and wait, and just build on that. If you're not sure what you can do for basic obedience, we do have the puppy training guide. It is available at livingprairiekennels@gmail.com. You can just send me an email and I can mail this out to you. At this point, we don't have it in any stores, but I can send it to you right away. This book has a whole bunch of different ideas in it. It has very basic things like focus, calm. It goes into a section that is a little harder. It's like an intermediate section that has just a little bit harder things in it. And then it goes off into your red section, which is the advanced section. We even have some hand signals in the back that you can work with. This is an excellent guide for you to get some ideas of what to do for your puppy to do some brain work. We can do brain work any time of the year. It's excellent for bonding. It's excellent for trust. 10 minutes of brain work is the equivalent to a half-hour power walk. So when it's like 31 degrees like today, trust me, you don't want to be out there and you don't want to be out walking your dog. The pavement is too hot, so be careful of that. In the winter time, if it's -20 and blizzarding, I don't like being out there either. I do go out a lot, but a lot of times you can actually just sit in your home, do some brain work, and that's what the book is really meant to do, just to give you some ideas and help you with just imagination and things that you can do with your puppy. The next thing that is really awesome for bonding is a walk. Either by yourself on a leash, like have the puppy on a leash and go for a walk. Spend lots of time doing that. Go out 3 or 4 times a day. And when the puppy is tiny, you don't have to go for long. 5 or 10 minutes is all it takes. Take the whole family. Go out as a family and, you know, walk with that dog as a pack so he becomes a group, a part of your family, a pack member with you and your kids or your spouse or whoever lives with you, your friends. Roll around on the floor with him. Just sit in the living room or sit on the floor or sit outside. Like today out here, this is what I did, is I just sat there and I was just, you know, playing with the puppies, just playing with toys, playing with tug-of-war, just handling them, just sitting there and just, you know, holding them, tug-of-warring, rolling around, and just, you know, do things like that. Teach your puppy tricks. There's so many things you can do out there, teach tricks. Some of the stuff is in the advanced book that has a few tricks in there. Play with your puppy, feed him, walking, cuddling. If the puppy's tired, cuddle with him. Those are all things that are really, really important for bonding. It is so important that you take the time, especially the first 6 months of your puppy's life. Always just kind of reach back again and make sure you have a good bond with your pup, and you know, make sure that he wants to be with you. Have you ever watched, you know, a movie, or maybe you even live somewhere where you see a homeless person walking around with a dog? Very, very seldom you see that homeless person holding on to a leash. He's pushing a cart or a stroller or something that he has his belongings in. And here's the dog just walking right beside him. And whenever that person stops, the dog stops. That is a bond. Doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter. You don't need to be rich to earn your dog's trust. You know, those are kind of things that really show when there's a really good bond between a human and a dog. So really, really work on that. Bonding is so important. The whole family needs to bond. If you don't have that, then you will see that the dog will become disobedient. It might run away, you know, just all those kind of things. So make sure the whole family is on the same page, and make sure that puppy stays with you for life, because I do believe that when puppies are surrendered to rescues or whatever, it is really because people did not bond properly. So that is a super important part that I want to talk about today. So that is really important. Get going on that. It doesn't matter if you have a puppy or an older dog. If you've adopted an older dog that, you know, is been somewhere before, just work with that. It's not a problem. You can still bond with them, and it's super important. Now, do you guys have any questions in regards to that? Let me just check the chat here, and I'm just going to see what else. What's here? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, we're back. So one of the questions is how much time a day do you need to spend to bond with your dog? Spend as much time as you can. I mean, if you can't spend, an hour a day, make sure it's half an hour a day. Make sure it's quality time. So this person wants to know, how much time do you need to spend? As much time as you can possibly come up with. The other question is what if you already have a dog and you're bonded to him, now you've gotten a second dog? You can bond just the same. You can bond with multiple dogs. I have 4 dogs and I'm very bonded with all of them. It's not hard to do. You can play games with your dogs together. You can take that time by yourself. Maybe sometimes take only one dog for a walk. Maybe sometimes take both of your dogs for a walk. So yeah, it doesn't matter if you already have a dog that you're bonded with. We have enough love to give around, so it's not a big problem. All right, that was all the questions on this one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start talking about jumping up. This is something that a lot of people struggle with. And, a lot of dogs just jump up whenever they feel like, and it's not always good, especially if you have a big dog. It can really hurt. It can knock you over. It can get you pretty dirty too. So I suggest you always pretend that you're wearing white clothes and your dog has just rolled in a mud puddle and he's got black paws. And you are just heading out to a nice dinner or a nice event, and you do not want to have those clothes get dirty. So don't let your dog jump up. So when you're dealing with a puppy, you can deal with it exactly like we did with the nipping. So if the dog jumps up, you go, ouch! And the puppy will, look at you like, whoa, what happened? And you're just like, off. When you're using the command for what you want the dog to do to not jump up, don't use down if you use down as a lay down. So you got to make sure you're using a different command to say no or off or whatever really command you want to use. I personally use off, so it is just very clear. So if the puppy jumps up, I can say ouch. If the puppy is looking at me, you say off. And when he's down, then make sure that you're really, really praising him and make sure he knows that he was good. There is some games you can play to learn this, and it's called 4 paws on the ground. So you can either play this with multiple people or you can do it by yourself. If there's 2 of you, one person holds the leash and the other person has a toy, a squeaker, or just gets really excited. The person with the leash makes sure the puppy does not move too far. So when you go over to the puppy and you get him all excited and he starts jumping around, you just take a step back and that other person makes sure that you're kind of steady. So you're kind of the anchor. If the puppy starts sitting down or just has 4 paws on the ground, you approach him again and say, good job. If the dog starts jumping up again, then you just step back again. And every time that dog is jumping up on you or bouncing around or all nervous, you just back up far enough that he can't reach you and you just wait for him to settle. So that's something you can do with 2 people. If there's only one of you, use like a banister or something that's sturdy that the dog can't pull over. Sometimes you can even just take your leash and put the loop around the door on the outside door handle and then close the door. So then you have something really stable for the dog to be tied to, and you can do that same exercise again. Go over, get that dog all excited. If he stays on the ground with all 4 paws, then just make sure you give him lots of praise. If the front paws come off the ground, you just step back and you say no. And you just wait until he settles and then you approach him again. Be really careful about like kneeing a dog. If a dog is older, yes, I understand that we go like that. But with the puppy, you want to make sure that you don't knee them because you can actually injure them. If they jump up and they really hit that knee and they get flung back, you could definitely hurt that puppy and you don't want to do that. The other thing you can do if the dog is really persistent, you can just turn your back on the puppy and you just put your hands like this and you just turn around and you just don't move. If the dog stops jumping up on you and settles, then you can turn around and you can praise him. So those are kind of really good exercises you can work with. The other thing is when you teach a puppy basic obedience things, the sit is such an important command, and I use that right away. It's almost the first thing that I teach a puppy. So if a dog is already knows how to sit, then when the dog comes bounding towards you and he's attempting to jump off, and you just say off, and you're, you know, keeping the dog down, then ask him to sit. And then he can sit down, and then you can praise him for that. So that's a good behavior that is kind of just getting the thought off, jumping up on you, and just be consistent with it too. The whole family needs to do that. If you're letting him jump up sometimes and then not other times, he doesn't know when you don't want him to jump up. The other thing that I do is I have a command for my dogs, and I say up. So when I'm standing in front of them, I pat my chest or my tummy and I say up. So then the dog comes and gives me a hug, but then it's on my terms. He doesn't jump up whenever he wants to. He just jumps up when I ask him to. So then that is my idea. It's a command, and it's something the dog respects. So really make sure the dog doesn't jump up. Also, when you're meeting other people, a lot of people don't like it when they're being jumped on. For some reason, it's socially acceptable that little dogs jump all over you and they nip you and they're all rude and everything. And it shouldn't be that way, because it doesn't matter if your dog is 5 pounds or 50 pounds or 100 pounds, he should not jump up on you. They can get you hurt, they can knock you over. If it's maybe a child or an elderly person, they could fall if the dog jumps up on them too hard, so you don't want to do that. If you're meeting people that want to pet your puppy, and your puppy's already on his hind paws standing there and his front paws are all over the place, just tell people to wait. Get that puppy to settle down, get him to sit, then let people pet him. If you need to, and your dog is on a leash, you can actually step on the leash. So the leash is just long enough from the collar to your foot, and that's where you're standing, and so he can sit. So that way you have a hand free if you want to shake somebody's hand or, you know, say hello to somebody, and your dog is not bouncing up and down and doing that. So you just step on that leash, make sure the dog doesn't jump, and he'll clue in really quickly that if you're stepping on that leash, he just needs to be calm. So most of the time they sit down, they lie down, and they wait for somebody to pet them. So those are a few tips for the jumping up, and just be consistent, make sure the whole family sticks with it, and just right from little on, when the puppy is young and little, go down to his level when you're petting him. Don't stand up straight and look down on your puppy and say, oh, good dog. And the puppy, of course, wants to jump up because he wants to be petted. So go down to a crouch, go down on your knees if you want to, and just be down on his level, and just make sure you always kind of keep them down. What I do a lot of times when I'm petting puppies, I put my hand on the back of their shoulders, just so they're not jumping up and down. And that way you can control that a little bit too. You don't have to put on a lot of pressure, but you're just kind of blocking them from jumping up. So that really helps too. And yeah, keep working on that, especially when they're little, because I would say 90% of the dogs that I meet, they jump up. And it's not fun. I don't like to be jumped on all the time, especially when I go out to my boarding kennel and there's 25 dogs out there and they're all jumping all over me. I get dirty, I get hurt, I get scratched, I get sometimes pinned up against a wall. I just don't like it. So I love those dogs that come here that don't jump up, because those are the ones that I always pet. The others don't get any attention until they settle down. So let's just see what we have here from the chat. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry guys. Eek, eek. There. Okay, it's gonna go away. Why is it not going away? Okay. Chat. Close. Okay, now I got it. Sorry, guys. So the one question was about the jumping up. If the dog is really big and he's used to jumping up, and how do I stop it? So like I said, try to work on those 4 paws on the ground. So tie the dog to something, approach him. If he starts jumping, you just step back. let him jump around until he stops. So, you know, just wait until he's calm, and that's when you go over, pet him. Sometimes he might start jumping up again right away. So just step back and wait for him to calm down. That is really the best rule. If it's the dog that, oh, sorry. One of the people said, what if it's somebody else's dog? You don't have to let another dog jump up on you. Even if the owner is there, say, please, can you make your dog stop jumping on me? Or you step away, or you turn around to your back and just stand until they stop jumping. If the dog just keeps on jumping and the owner is there, that's pretty rude of the owner to not help you out. So just ask for, you know, say, can you please help me? Your dog is jumping up and it hurts. So can you please help me with this? And hopefully the owner will understand and give you a hand there. So the next thing we're going to talk about is separation anxiety. Separation anxiety is a huge problem. Especially right now, we've been going through COVID. Everybody's been home for months at a time. And come fall, everybody's going to go back to school. The kids are going back to school. Activities start. They're going to be with their friends. You're going to be on the road more. You're going to be going back to work. It's going to be really tough for the dogs, because for the last few months, if somebody's been home all the time and they haven't been home alone. So this is a time to start right now. Start yesterday. Make sure at least 2 or 3 times a day you take your dog and you put him in his crate, wherever you would be putting the dog when you go to work. If it's in a mud room, if it's just loose in the house, awesome. But make sure you leave the house for at least 20 minutes or so, 20 minutes, half an hour, 2 to 3 times a day, to make sure that dog remembers that, you know, you are going to come back. If the dog is inside and he's just freaking out, just wait until he slows down. If you go back when he's jumping and screaming, that basically tells him that as soon as he misbehaves and as soon as he's loud, that you're coming back. So make sure you start practicing this. If you're having a puppy, make sure that puppy's in a crate. You don't want him to hurt himself. You don't want him to get into stuff that's going to hurt his tummy, ingest something that could be dangerous to him, or something that's valuable to you. So, you know, you don't want him to wreck that. So my suggestion is if you have a puppy, make sure that 2 or 3 times a day you take that puppy, make sure he's gone to the bathroom, make sure he's been played with and he's tired. Give him a chew toy if necessary, a chew stick or a food toy that you can put, like a Kong or something like that. Put it in his crate and make sure he sits there and, you know, he plays in there by himself. You don't even have to leave the home. If you want to just, you know, go to a different room, let that puppy be in there and just be comfortable. And then you're going to come back. Go out to get groceries and leave the dog at home. It's too hot right now anyways to take the dog with you. It's too dangerous to leave the dog in your vehicle. So just, you know, take him in your crate and just leave him at home for a little bit. This is super important that you start practicing this right away, because yeah, the puppies are going to have separation anxiety, and you don't want to make your neighbors mad. You don't want to have bylaw being called because your dog is just misbehaving and screaming. So make sure you start practicing now. Try to get as close to your normal life time frame as you can and leave that dog at home. The big thing is around that time, you got to make sure you spend time with your pup. So when you're back at work, you're going to have to go for a walk in the morning. You got to make sure he's gone to the bathroom. And then if you go to work for until noon or whatever, you've got to come home, take that dog for a walk. If you have to go to work for 8 or 10 hours a day, make sure you have a dog walker or somebody that can let your dog out during that time. And, you know, make sure that your dog is happy and tired when he goes into that crate. So that is really important. And separation anxiety is terrible for the dog. It's so stressful, and we just really don't want to put him through that. So make sure you start practicing now. Okay, so I'm just going to go on the chat and see what questions we have. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. All right. So one of the questions is what if I work from home? That good for you. That's really fun. But you have to make sure that the puppy still knows how to be alone. Being with your dog 24/7 is really hard on him after a while, especially if you do have to go somewhere. So you need to take the kids to dance, you need to go to a hockey game. You can't always take the dog. So even if you work from home, make sure at least a couple of times a day you practice to leave the dog in a confined area. May it be your playpen, your crate, your mudroom, wherever you would leave the dog when you leave the home. Or if you work in your office, if you have an office at home, just make sure that you just lock the dog out of the office and make sure you have some alone time too for you. But yeah, separation anxiety is really hard on the dog. It's really stressful. It's not good for them at all. Worst case scenario, there is some, natural medicines you can use. If your dog is really in bad shape, you might want to talk to your vet and see if they have anything for him to help you out with that. So that is pretty much it for tonight. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to contact me anytime. You can reach me at livingprairiekennels@gmail.com. You can reach me there the best. I will get back to you as soon as I get your message. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with. I also do phone consultations. We can book a time and we can chat. They are $25 per hour. So we can chat about whatever problems you have and see if I can help you. If you're looking for ideas, like I said, we have the puppy training guide. You can reach me again at livingprairiekennels@gmail.com and I will send you out a copy. They're $29 plus $4 shipping and handling. Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much. This was number 4 out of our 4-part series. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope to talk to you again and tune in for our next webinar series. Thank you. Take care, and we'll talk to you again. Bye for now.